Hello everyone, welcome to the new topic, the role of CISO in GDPR and compliance frameworks. During the next 10 minutes, we are going to talk about see a lot of new enhancements in the CISO role from the compliance standpoint, and what are the responsibilities the CISO should or must carry for GDPR and CCPA compliance, and how CISO needs to collaborate with DPO in order to fulfill the compliance requirements, and followed by we will see some real-time examples and what are the challenges CISO could encounter from the compliance front, and finally what are the strategic approach CISO should do, and we will wrap up the session with some key takeaway points. CISO, right? CISO's role is very broader, and he is one of the senior level executive person and responsible person for an organization's information security, cybersecurity, and data security posture. His role involves from maintaining and developing, implementing, and enforcing the security policies, to oversee the security technologies, and risk undertaking, risk assessment like internal or external, even third-party risk assessments, and to ensure no external threats are posing the risk to the organizations. It is what until few years ago, but the data protection is one of the core area nowadays for all the CISOs, especially the GDPR and CCPA. So GDPR mostly applicable to CISO when they have the operations in EU region, or they work on behalf of the EU region clients, and the same thing applicable for CCPA. The abbreviation of CCPA is nothing but California Consumer Privacy Act. The abbreviation of GDPR is nothing but General Data Protection Regulations. So why CISO role is very key in the data protection, and how it differs from DPO. The DPO is nothing but Data Protection Officer. So basically DPO, even before DPO, if you look out, DPO roles are available only in the top MNCs, especially in the banking sectors or in fintech sectors. They have a dedicated vertical for compliance, and they are the third line of defense in most of the organizations, and they will focus more on legal and compliance front, whereas CISO will ensure whatever requirements comes in from DPO to make it happen with the tight and robust security controls. So basically DPO will set the context of what needs to be protected and why it needs to be protected, whereas in CISO he will put the control how it can be protected. So that is the nuance between DPO and CISO. So the new role, how the role has been changed for CISO in the current modern organizations. If you look at CISO role in the few years ago, as I said earlier, they were focused mainly on IT security, and to ensure no external threat could enter into the organizations and should not tamper or steal the data. Right, either they have the control of control through firewalls and access control systems, and conduct a lot of threat management threat intel and threat hunting, and even threat modeling for the applications, right? But nowadays it has been evolved from the pure IT strategy to leadership strategy of data protection, because ultimately they give the security to protect something. When I say something, it is either could be the intellectual property of the the own organization, or source code of the the product, or the data of the customers which they host on their behalf of the clients or customers. So data protection is one of the key area. So ultimately it should be in line with CISO's role, and they need to ensure the controls, the security controls, whatever they bring it should directly provide the positive impact to the privacy compliance standpoints. Like I said earlier, either could be a GDPR or CCPA, any other privacy acts. It should be directly with the benefits, and from the stakeholders management, their security risk should be translated into the business risk. See, rather than saying that oh, we don't have encryption in control. Instead, they could say because of not having the encryption, the data may get leaked and attack confirmation with the attacker. If so, then as per the GDPR penalty, we may need to pay either 4% of annual revenue or 20 million. So this will give the clear understanding about the importance of why we need to inline with compliance and how we need to put the controls in place. And one of the main role for CISO is nothing but again they need to bridge the gap from all the experts. So basically it's a PPT, like people, process and technology. So they have to think from all the angle and put their controls to in line with business business objective, also to should meet the compliance requirement. So again, the CISO responsibilities under GDPR. Under GDPR, again, CISO plays a very key role in several organizations and several areas. So I could name it few. Security of processing. So how we maintain our security in order to protect the data or in order to handle the data at our environment, and how we are processing it. Like for example, whether we have a proper encryption in place and access control to maintain the integrity, like only authorized person have an access to the right data, and even we have a proper logging systems or monitoring to ensure non-repudiations. In case anything happen, no one should deny the fact. So the logging and auditing will ensure that. And finally the resilience, the backup in case of any uncertainty happen to the primary location, the secondary or the backup should provide us the life back. And another area is nothing but the privacy by design and default. It will just ensure the privacy is embedded with the system in design and architecture, so that whatever the controls will be tested before the product goes to the product, which means during the testing UAT we will test all the known factors, known privacy issues are addressed and secure. And another important area is incident response. So we should have the proper incident response plan, and especially plan in place, and needed to be tested periodically. So CISO could lead or spearhead the investigation. So basically either they could follow NIST framework for incident response or SIMS. Either way, they have to do a proper investigation, containment, eradications, and to recover and respond to the incident. Finally, do a lesson learned. So these are the things they need to work with DPOs to ensure the timely notifications sent to them, so that the DPO can communicate to the superior authority of the respective regions. And one of the important area where CISO needs to focus for GDPR is nothing but the third party vendor. So most of the attacks nowadays are happen through the third party vendors, because they have access to our network, and if their network is not secured enough, it is easily compromised. Obviously, though we have tight control, but because of the the access which we leverage to the third party, our network also may get compromised easily. So the CISO should look out and conduct frequent third party, when it's not a frequent, that is periodic third party risk assessment to ensure no loopholes are present in the vendor or partners network. And finally, it is accountability. So accountability is nothing but CISO should maintain the proper policies, documents, and the result of risk assessment of either internal, external, third parties, vendors, and internal audits to ensure we are 100% compliant with that. For example, they can use the GRC tool to ensure it already captures based on the framework we set. And CCPA, the same kind of responsibility, but again it's specific to the users or the process which the company operating on behalf of the California customers. So because privacy is primarily focused on the data rights. When I say data rights, the individual have the rights to either they can update the records, delete the records, modify the records, and access the records, and the data should be very transparent. So the CISO should obviously collaborate with the DPO to ensure any request comes from the individuals. Either the CISO could be a part of data processor organization or data controller organization, but it has to be acted within the stipulated SLA. And while DPO holds responsibility more for privacy, but sometimes since the security is managed by CISO, also plays a vital role here. And CISO basically needs to ensure the cybersecurity principles or cybersecurity controls are equals the consumer's protection. This means data protection and data request, which is handled by which is requested by the data subjects. And why they need to collaborate with DPO? So DPO is the subject matter expert, and they are the spark for the superior or supervising authority of the respective regions. So they are the person, as I said in the beginning, so they will tell what needs to be protected and why it needs to be protected. So they define the legal and policy requirements from the what and why, and CISO should follow those things to put the security controls to fulfill those requirements. And jointly we can, in case if you want to inline the company to GDPR compliant, the CISO needs to come up with the DPAA assessment. DPAA is nothing but data privacy impact assessments, and also the ROPA, records of processing activities. So the records of processing activity, ROPA, is nothing but the data inventory. It has the information about what data, personal data, is being processed within the organization. Either it could be internal or external, but what data it is being handled by the team. DPAA is kind of a risk register. Basically it gives it will give the what are the high exposed or high posed vulnerabilities or risk which could poses to the data privacy or data protection. Accordingly, the CISO needs to take the controls and implement the controls. So both are linked together. It has to be tagged properly. And so one of the real-time examples I could say, as per GDPR, CISO could not be a DPO, which means CISO could not play a DPO role. But there are some certain ifs and buts. If the data processor company or the data organizer start handling the large scale of data, large amount of data, then these conditions are applied. If they are handling very less number of data, then it is not mandatory, but large data, yes, it is one of the mandatory thing. And one of the example, the fintech company, not only fintech, even any company, the customer data should be encrypted and should be isolated from the other customers or other consumers, and updates properly on the consent records, either it could be a DPA, data protection agreement, or even DPIA or ROPA. It has to be updated in all the areas. And finally, they need to ensure both of the technical and legal complaints are intact. So the challenges for CISO. So CISO faces the real challenges, nothing but balancing compliance and practicality. So in the evolving regulations and cross-border laws, they need to ensure the proper consent are received from the respective customers or clients in prior before we transfer the data. If they require the data localizations, and we need to ensure the data should not transfer, even though the company has footprint in multiple regions, the data should not be transferred for any reasons. And the keeping the privacy laws always, and building the security culture across the teams by conducting frequent security awareness trainings and phishing simulations. There are a lot of areas which CISO needs to take a look. And the strategic contribution. So as I said earlier, CISO maintains the policies and implement the security technologies, etc. So he has to convert the policies or whatever the technologies into the production standpoint. For example, we may use encryption, which is AES 128, though it is provides encryption, but the latest is emerging to 512, or at least we should be in 256. So it has to be evaluate existing control should be evaluated periodically to ensure how efficiently it protects the data, it protects the environment. So which CISO is to conduct frequent internal assessment to ensure the controls are really sufficient or not. If not, then they need to bring the new controls in place. And moreover, they have to go for either compliance audits, like either SOC 2 type if they are into the cloud service providers. If they are have the operations in the EU region, they should go for GDPR compliant to ensure they are 100% in line with that. Also, it gives the assurance to the clients and build the trust with the partners and clients, and also improvise the brand reputations and etc. And always needs to share the key risk posture to the management and senior leadership team to get the site and advice, or get the probably investment to minimize it. So the conclusion is nothing but CISO is always a cornerstone of GDPR and CCPA compliance, even though DPO is in place, because CISO provides the technical solutions for the data protection. So his standpoint should be security. When we have a security plus privacy, it gives a 100% trust to the consumers and etc. So in summary, as I said earlier, CISO's view is something broader nowadays. So he has to think from the compliance standpoint as well, to ensure how the organizations compliant with respective regions, legal and regulations, to avoid the unnecessary penalty and put the controls in place. Thank you. Have a great day.